All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is July 14th. Time is approximately 7 p.m., and we are going to get our commission meeting underway. First thing I need is an approval of the agenda. What is the pleasure of the commission?
So moved. Second.
All right, a motion by Commissioner Clark, second by Commissioner Long. All right. Any discussion on the approval? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Unanimous. If you all please rise, I want to welcome Pastor Ian Campbell to the podium to give our invocation tonight. And please standing if you're able, and we will have the Pledge of Allegiance following that. Pastor? Our first item of business is the presentation from our Parks and Rec Director. You ready, Mr. Clark? Come on up. Just make sure the podium is on, or make sure the microphone is on.
Testing, testing. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the commission. For the record, my name is Rod Clark, Parks and Recreation Director. I'm excited to present this update during Parks and Recreations Month. Tonight I'll be sharing some highlights from this past year along with the progress we've made as we continue to grow and adapt to the needs of our community. Happy Recreation Month. Our success is made possible by the continued feedback and support of our residents, the trust extended to us by this commission and our city manager, and the strong collaboration we have across city departments. From capital projects, helping with new parking at Easton, to our fire department providing CPR training for our entire staff. When our buses, the buses that we use to transport our Newberry kids for after school and for summer camp field trips, experience critical safety issues, making the buses unsafe and undrivable. Our finance department helped us to get the funds in place, to get the repairs done quickly. Our internal teams consistently go above and beyond. Our department is living proof that teamwork makes the dream work. And finally, last but not least, none of this would be possible without our dedicated Parks and Recreation staff who serve this community with tremendous heart and pride. While we're still a relatively small team, we've grown from 7 positions to 9.5 positions just this past year, including our new special events coordinator and 2 grounds maintenance staff members, Roland Scott, who each have over 20 years of experience doing what they do. We also have a new intern, Alexis Stuckey. Alexis is a student athlete at the University of Florida. She's a standout volleyball player and an even better human being. She's been helping with our programs, including helping to spearhead our highly coveted volleyball camps. Here are a couple of photos showing how we get to build community every day in Newberry. We know that sports is an amazing way to bring the community together. Our staff understands that whether we're working in the concession stands, or monitoring soccer host days, ensuring parents remain on their best behavior, we play a vital role in this community. On the left, you'll see one of our recreation coordinators, James Albright, manning our concessions on a Saturday morning. On the right-hand side, you see our youngest volunteer, Sayer. I looks like he's eating an icy, and he's definitely sitting down. I don't know if hopefully that was on his break. So I'm not sure, but I'll get with this supervisor to make sure he's doing things the Newberry way. All right, on to our youth sports. So as you can see, we offer a variety of sports programming. We try to stay as well-rounded as possible with our offerings. Most recently, we've added 7-on-7 football, which is a middle school flag football offering. You may be wondering why there's a flag football bullet point and a 7-on-7 bullet point, and that's because we've added 7-on-7 for our middle school age youth. We saw the need there, so we've done that. And it's also a different season than the flag football. Again, that's for the younger kids. Seasonal seasons, we offer our sports year round, primarily spring, fall, and winter. In the summer, we focus more on summer camps and adult sports. We had over 1,530 registrations, and that's not including our summer camps and our open play activities and events. As you can see, fall is superior to the other seasons in regards to our registrations, so it remains the strongest. In the wintertime, the only sport that we run is basketball, and as you can see, we still have a good number of participants there as well. Okay, let's talk about our youth programs by the numbers. As you can see, volleyball is leading the way, with soccer being in a close second. We also have cheer and t-ball for the younger kids as well, but again, very well rounded in regards to our offerings. Let's talk about our trends. All of our programs or sports are remaining strong, with football being up 17%, and that includes our flag football, 7-on-7, and tackle football. So all those are wrapped into one. Baseball is down 3%, so not a big difference there. Softball is down less than 1%, so that's holding steady. Volleyball is the sport that we're kind of seeing our numbers drop off just a tad. And again, we've had a conversation about space, indoor space. I think we're starting to really see the effects of that. We're just totally out of space in our gym. We also have an outside concrete pad that's also being used for volleyball practice, and we're very thankful to Oakview Middle School for allowing us to use their gym for practice as well. But overall, volleyball still remains strong.
Ron,
Yes, sir.
Do you think the volleyball is because of Gainesville juniors and stuff taking away from us, or just the facility, or both?
I think it's both. Yeah, because again, if you're pressed for space,
Yes.
and sometimes we have to rotate the teams, and from the inside to
we
the
need
outside,
that
and
bigger
most
building.
people don't like that, and so obviously, some people will, venture off and look for other opportunities. So again, I think that is for both of those reasons we're seeing that. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about our summer camps. We have made a concerted effort to boost our summer camps. Right now, I think as of right now, we've already had over 20 days of camps. So as you can see, we have everything from volleyball camp, soccer camp, softball camp. We just had the Torian Green basketball camp. Again, he's a coach from the University of Florida, also 3-time national champion now, and he volunteered to come out and do a camp for us. And it was a fantastic camp. We had some of the Gator basketball players there, and I think the parents enjoyed it as much as the kids did. So it was an outstanding event, and we're also going to partner with them to do a second basketball camp. Again, it's for boys and girls from ages 6 through 11. On August the 2nd, we're going to have another basketball camp, and it's going to be a back-to-school basketball camp, again, hosted by the Torian Green Foundation. So they're going to give away school supplies. So, of course, people want to get their registrations done early. For this past camp, they had 70 spaces open, and they were full before the last week of the camp. So, 1 week before the camp started. So, I think people are starting to get used to the fact that we are hosting quality camps in the city of Newberry. So we're very thankful for that, and we're getting a lot of great feedback. The Corey Durden football camp was another success. Actually, this is the one that kicked off our summer camps. Um, we partnered with the NFL, particularly the Giants, with this particular camp. UF Health and Newberry High School football coaching staff. So Coach Johnson and I got together, and we thought this would be a great opportunity to bring a quality camp like this to the city of Newberry, so our kids can have that experience. Yes, he is a local boy. Again, it was a great event. The kids ate pizza at the end, and they had a blast. These are just some pictures from the camp, just so if you didn't make it, you're able to kind of see some of the fun that actually took place there. That's Corey in the top left, and you can see all the kids having fun, rallying around. Families were taking pictures at the end. Coach Johnson's at the bottom left there, giving instruction to the young guy on how to hold a football in the quarterbacking position. But yeah, it's an outstanding camp. We're looking forward to many, many more of those. I just want to highlight the fact, that we are, again, doing our level best to partner with Newberry High School Athletics. Again, in my estimation, two, groups who want the same thing for this community. We want to see our youth active. We want to see them healthy, physically and mentally, and get the social interaction that they need. Um, so we are very thankful. We have rec nights for baseball and for softball. That's basically when the kids go out to the fields. They get to throw with the team. They get to stand on the field, say the Pledge of Allegiance, all that good stuff, and just have that great interaction. So very thankful for that. Now I want to talk about summer education enrichment. This is a big push that we've had this summer as well. So we partnered with two nonprofits. The one is the IGB in education, they're both actually sponsored by the Children's Trust, but IGB, they were at Freddie Warmack this summer at their camp there, and again they offered 45 free summer camp spots for kids. And this is only my first year, but I think that may be the first time that has happened there. We also partner with Motivate You, and we partner with them to host summer camp educational courses at the MLK. So we wanted to kind of spread it out to both of our centers. So we're very thankful for those two partners, and again, we look forward to building that partnership. Adult offerings. Adult offerings are starting to become more popular here. We get more adults from the community, mostly in the summer, coming out to do adult co-ed volleyball, 3-on-3 basketball, adult summer league softball, and we're really getting great feedback from the community with this. So yeah, we want that to continue. We have pickleball in Newberry. A year ago, I stood up here when I first started, and you guys asked me that question: are we going to have pickleball? When we're getting pickleball, we have pickleball now. We have open gym at Easton on Monday nights. Matter of fact, tonight there's open gym, so if we get out of here early enough, we can all go play pickleball. We also have pickleball at Jimmy Durden. So as you can see in the picture on the right, we have a fantastic looking court, multi-purpose court that's lined for basketball and pickleball. And to access the court, not only courts but the nets and the paddles and the balls, it's a simple process. We have a QR code posted up. You get your camera using your phone. You put it up there. You answer a few questions. It'll provide you a code. That code unlocks the back door where the net, paddles, and balls are. You can pull that out with your friends and family. Have a great time. All right, events at MLK in Lewis Fort Park. As you can see, I'm not sure what happened there, but toy giveaway was great. I have a couple of pictures from that, and everything you see listed there have remained strong, and we've been consistent with all of those. Here are those few pictures I just mentioned. You see the smiley faces. I mean, that speaks for itself. I just think those are such cute pictures. Kids got new bicycles and lots of great toys, so we're thankful for the partnership there. Senior bingo, movie night, Easter egg hunt was fantastic at MLK, keeping that going. The senior citizens prom, that's hosted every year. It's on September 20th this year. So tickets are only $25, so spread the word. Always a great event. We have the MLK celebration at the municipal building. Um, our speaker was Reverend David Green Jr., who did a fantastic job, and I think the picture on the right speaks for itself. Just a great time of unity and fellowship, which is healthy for any community. West Fest was a hit. If you weren't there, I'm sorry because it was. We had some wonderful artists, some young artists that are, I'm sure, are going to be stars here in the near future. We do want to thank our sponsors of West Fest, but again, another great music festival and community event. All right, Christmas capital of Alachua County. This past year, the 2024 celebration went fantastic, and of course, we're already planning for Christmas time already. Christmas in July. We're always looking to make things a little more special each year. So, yeah, we have a special events coordinator now who's taking the lead on it. Again, we're looking forward to another special time. Champions Park, they're scheduled to have 30 tournaments this year. So it'll be projected to be a strong year. Things are starting to trend in the right direction. So we are on the right track to keep things moving in the right direction and looking forward to 2026. Just a couple of the big tournaments that they have there. Some other tournaments and events that we have with our RC folks out back at Easton. That's also growing. The partnership remains strong there, along with lots of events being hosted by archery as well, as you guys already know. Last but not least, here are some of our enhanced park projects. I had to put a couple of pictures of the Veterans Memorial. I thought it was the best event this year. Very thankful to Commissioner Clark and everybody who had a hand in that, Miss Debbie included. As far as other recently completed projects, we do have fencing around our playgrounds. We have the Jimmy Durden Park field renovation. It just looks great. If you haven't been out to Jimmy Durden, please go out there and take a look. Our facilities and capital projects did a fantastic job. There are enhanced parking and other things at Easton. We have sidewalks out front now. If you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody's happy and excited about that. Sidewalks, there are more parking spaces for folks, fencing, improved lighting, decorative bollards. Kind of hard to see the bollards, but we have the bollards out front of the building there. One's a soccer ball, basketball, volleyball, baseball. So everybody likes that. And of course, including the bike rack. So now when the kids come, they don't have to just throw their bikes down in front of the door. Now they can utilize a bike rack that's there as well. So, all right. So that concludes my presentation. Hopefully I didn't go too fast, but I did want to give you guys an idea of the progress that we are making. And we're having fun doing it. It's an exciting time. We have a strong team, and we're looking forward to even better times.
Perfect. Thank you, Director Clark. Certainly appreciate it. Any comments or questions from the board?
Thank you.
Yeah, I echo that, Rod. We started on this kind of mission of kind of overhauling some of the rec stuff a couple of years ago. Once Travis was moved, you've been great filling in that spot and fulfilling everything that he started and continuing all the new stuff that we throw at you all the time. So thank you to you and your staff. I also want to take a second and thank all the businesses that help in sponsoring some of this stuff. And that's where the whole community piece comes together, where if you're spending your money local, we get to keep it local, and it gets fed back into programs and stuff like that. So even if you're paying a little bit more at a business around here, just know that your money is getting used 2 or 3 times around here for different things. So On that positive note and great presentation, I'm going to read in the proclamation of the City of Newberry Parks and Rec Month. Whereas parks and recreation are essential to community vitality, offering access to nature, recreation, and social programs that benefit residents of all ages. And whereas according to the National Recreation and Parks Association, engagement with the park report, over 276 million Americans visited local parks or recreation facilities in the past year, with 91% labeling parks as essential municipal services and 86% saying that they seek high-quality parks when choosing where to live. And whereas 92% of adults report a positive mental health boost after visiting parks, while 81% value access to parks during stressful times. And whereas parks encourage physical activity, visitors are 3 times more likely to meet recommended activity levels and reduce chronic conditions such as heart disease, obesity, and depression. And whereas parks and recreation stimulate economic growth, generating nearly $201 billion in economic activity in 2021, supporting over 1 million jobs. And whereas 9 out of 10 Americans affirm that parks and recreation are an essential as public safety, schools, and transportation, and 3 in 4 support increased municipal funding for parks. And whereas a 2024 National League of Cities study found that the mayors in cities of all sizes consistently cite parks and recreation among their top 6 policy priorities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by the virtue vested in me as the mayor of the city of Newberry, I do hereby proclaim July as Parks and Recreation Month, in witness whereof I have here to set my hand and cause the great seal of the city of Newberry, Florida, to be affixed unto this 14th day of July in the year of 2025. Thank you. And I think I got something. I think we got a photo op.
Okay.
Center, you don't have to hang on, don't lose that smile.
Hang it up in the All right. So to transition a little bit more, we're having an opportunity for public announcements if there are any from the public. Nothing. Seeing no. Don't all rush to the podium at once. Next item is really the consent agenda. Several items on there. What is the pleasure of the commission regarding this consent agenda? Say what? Was that you first?
Yeah.
Commissioner Long and Commissioner Clark. Any discussion on the consent agenda? All right, any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, unanimous. Consent agenda passes. Public hearing and ordinances. This is second reading of a small-scale future land use map amendment from agriculture to commercial for a commercial development entitled Crystal Lake. Mr. Attorney, will you go ahead and read the ordinance 2511?
This is ordinance number 2025-11, CPA 25-01, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending ordinance number 4-91 as amended, relating to a small-scale amendment of the future land use plan map of the City of Newberry Comprehensive Plan, providing for change in future land use classification from agricultural to commercial on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, more particularly described in Exhibit A, consisting of 50 acres, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass ordinance number 2025-11 as read by title only upon second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Attorney. Mr. John Paul, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. Good evening. John Paul Perez with the Community Development Department. This is second reading, so I'm not going to get into a lengthy presentation. I'll just share our motion, which is to adopt the ordinance as presented. The report has had no changes. The ordinance has had no changes, so it's remarkably the same item you saw for first reading. And I'm available for any questions, and the applicant is also here for any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. This is the property west of Destiny Community, along 26. So that's right up on the street, 50 acres.
Where is there a lake?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't have any idea. Very good. Any other discussion from the commission and from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify. And I'm sorry, the applicant need to say anything? No? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. All right. So we had Long on the motion, Clark on the second. Unanimous vote. You good? Madam Clerk, you ready? You good? Okay. Sure. Item number 5 is the second reading on the same property from rezoning agriculture to commercial intensive. This is actually going to be a quasi judicial. So let me get the cheat sheet out and I'll read through that real quick for us. We are entering into a quasi judicial procedure. This is for the second reading, the rezoning for the same property. It means the commission will stop being a legislative body, become a judicial board, which means that we have to follow certain rules and adhere to a different standard of decision making. The primary rule we must follow concerns testimony, and the substantial and competent evidence standard must be met when the judicial board makes a decision. This standard states the following, quote, all public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. The giving of opinion testimony is limited to experts. Closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record only. Now I'm going to ask the city attorney to read into the record the ordinance or resolution by title and number.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, this is ordinance number 2025-12, LDR 25-03. An ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, relating to the rezoning of 50 contiguous acres, amending the official zoning atlas of the City of Newberry Land Development Regulations, providing for rezoning from Agricultural A zoning district to the Commercial Intensive CI zoning district on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, more particularly described in Exhibit A, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date. Appropriate motion will be to pass ordinance number 2025-12 on its reading by second reading by title only.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney, and I'm going to now have the clerk swear in the applicant, staff, and any participants requesting to speak. They may be collectively sworn in at the same time. All right, thank you. Before we begin, I want to have the commission disclose any ex parte communication and disclose whether any member physically inspected the property. Ex parte communications are any conversations or transmission of information that may have bearing or influence on any voting member's decision. I'll begin here to my immediate right. Commissioner Long, Commissioner Clark, Commissioner Coleman. I do not either. Okay, I'll begin now to just kind of explain the order that we'll follow for every quasi-judicial item before us tonight. So we'll have a staff overview, applicant presentation, staff report, recommendation, third-party intervener, which I'm not aware of any. Those do not have any time limit. Then we'll actually have 3 minutes of public comment each, and this will actually happen before the board asks any questions. The applicant may cross-examine, the party interveners cross-examine, staff can cross-examine. Then members of the decision-making board through the chair may ask questions of the staff, applicant, and any other participants. Final arguments may be made by the applicant, party interveners, and the staff related solely to the evidence and the testimony presented at the hearing and introduced into this record. The city attorney will then advise the decision-making body as to the applicable law and the factual findings that must be made to approve or deny the application. We will then ensue to deliberate the application. After deliberations, a vote shall be taken to approve with conditions, or continue or deny the application. So let's go back to the top, and we will take the staff overview. John Paul, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the record, John Paul Perez with the Community Development Department. Again, this is second reading, so I'm not going to belabor. Nothing has changed with this rezoning application from first reading. Our staff report and ordinance have been submitted to the board and are part of the record. As such, our motion, recommended motion is for the commission to adopt the ordinance as presented. And the applicant's here to submit any testimony or argument. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Ryan Thompson, agent for the applicant. Based on the competent substantial evidence in the staff report and the application materials, my presentations to this board at first reading, I humbly request your recommendation, or actually approval of this item. Thank you.
All right, John.
Sure. The recommended motion is motion to adopt ordinance 2025-12, file number LDR 2503 on second reading, rezoning a 50-acre parcel from agricultural A to commercial intensive CI.
Final argument. Mr. Attorney, your turn.
It is the substantial and competent evidence standard.
Sir. All those in favor signify by. All those in favor? Guys have it. Motion passes. Back to normal legislative. I'm sorry, I believe we come back now as a traditional legislative body. Number 6, correct? Preliminary fire assessment. Mr. Lee, you have the floor.
Mr. Reed, do you want me to read the title to the
Sure.
resolution?
What the heck?
This is a resolution of the City of Newberry, Florida, relating to the provision of fire and rescue services, facilities, and programs in the City of Newberry, Florida, providing authority, purpose, and definitions, and certain legislative findings, establishing the cost apportionment and partial apportionment, establishing the estimated rate for fire rescue assessments for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025, directing the preparation of an assessment roll, providing for hardship assistance, authorizing the public hearing, and directing the provision of notice thereof, and provide an effective date. Appropriate motion at the appropriate time will be to pass resolution number 2025-25 upon its reading by title only.
All right, Mr. Lee, you now have the floor to give us the presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners. Tonight, we are discussing your preliminary fire assessment for fiscal year 2026. As you remember, last year, we went through the fire assessment study and apportionment process. The Commission felt there were issues in that apportionment and directed staff to go back and redo the study this year. So we have redone the study with the Commission's direction in some areas of how we calculate these fees. So we have those new rates for you tonight. I'd also like to remind the Commission that the rate you set tonight is the highest rate you can set for your 2026 budget. You set a high rate and always come down. You cannot adopt a rate higher than what you set tonight. The rate you set tonight is also what will be noticed on your trim notices that will go to all of your taxpayers. So our recommended motion tonight is for you to provide staff direction on what you'd like your preliminary fire assessment to be, and then approve the resolution with it. And as a reminder, the fire assessment does meet two of your strategic goals adopted in your strategic plan, which is to protect our community through a professional and responsive fire department, and then provide equitable and sustainable sources of revenues for long-term. So as a brief overview on the fire assessment, the fire assessment is a charge that is charged against all of your real property for the provision of fire services within the city. Funds raised from your fire assessment can only go to fund fire protection portion of the fire department. We cannot use it for anything else. That also means we cannot use fire assessment to fund anything above first responder response in the fire department. So paramedics, your ALS responses, those cannot be funded with your fire assessment. The city does exempt some people from paying the fire assessment. That includes government property, tax exempt properties, churches in Newberry's case. And then the city commission does also offer a hardship assistance program for residents who meet certain criteria who cannot afford to pay the fire assessment. As a reminder, your fire department is funded primarily through your property taxes. About 54% of the fire department's funding is through property taxes. Currently, the fire assessment funds about a third of it, 36%. Your agreement with the county for the city to provide fire services into the unincorporated county within our first response territory provides about 10% of the funding for the fire department, and then there's just a few $1,000s in miscellaneous permits. These numbers are based off your current 2025 budget. So going through the fire assessment study, the first thing that we do in conjunction with our consultants is look at the budget and determine what can be assessed to the fire assessment. As I mentioned earlier, we cannot do anything above first responder response as an assessable charge. So for example, only 75% of our salaries can be charged to first responder. The rest is what they determined have been our paramedics or anything above that response. So they go through each category, determine how much is actually legally allowed to be assessed, and come up with that number. So for 2025, your net budget, less other revenue non-fire assessment related, was 2.2 million, 2.3 million. The total assessable amount is only about 75% of that, or about 1.7 million. So then we take that 1.7 million and we project it out for 5 years to calculate what the total assessable amount is, just shy of 2.1 million. So one of the updates we made this year based off of the commission's direction, we looked at a 3-year period for call data instead of just 1 year. Last year when we did it, we only looked at 1 year, which was a particularly bad year for calls in one category. Because we only looked at that 1 year and there are a number of calls in that one category, it spiked the assessment in that category. So that category was paying more than the other categories. So this year we did a 3-year study from 2022 to 2024. And the call data is in front of you. As you can see, the difference between our last study in 2016 versus now is we had a little bit of a decrease in calls to residential, a little bit of a decrease in commercial, and then an increase in both industrial and institutional. So you can see that the cost apportionments follow those changes. So once we take those calls, we apportion them out based off of the budget. So for example, residential calls accounted for 71.08% of all of the calls we had. So if you multiply that times the apportioned budget of 2.1 million, the total amount you can apportion to your residential units through fire assessments. So based off of all of that, all the math comes to tell you that the highest amount you could set for your fire assessment to fully fund the fire department as most is legally allowed would be a residential rate of $419 per resident and corresponding increases for the non-residential categories. That would be the amount that generated the 2.1 million that would fund as much as you can. Obviously, staff does not recommend more than doubling your fire assessment tonight, but that is certainly within your purview. So I've got a number of rate scenarios for you. So looking for feedback as to what scenario you'd like to pick tonight. Again, reminder, you can always lower this rate. You cannot increase it for this fiscal year if you choose a rate. Yes, sir.
Do we, I seen this on there, but I did not see all this backup material. Do we have to vote on this tonight? Is there a time limit that's given us some kind of 90-day window before the next one, or,
You could defer it for one meeting, but it has to be voted on in July.
because we're getting into that
Mr. Mayor,
so many times before the budget?
I just would remind the board that you don't have to, all you're doing tonight is setting the.
I understand.
Right?
Yep.
So that's all we kind of need right
Okay,
now.
I understand.
And just for a little bit of history, for Commissioner Long, years ago, it was a different commission, had a loose policy that the fire assessment fee should generate roughly half of the cost of the fire department. That's the kind of that is the kind of direction I think we're looking for here tonight is, do you want to be in that ballpark? If you want to be in that ballpark, we've slipped away from it a little bit, right? We're not generally, we're in a third, not close to a half. So that's the kind of feedback. Again, tonight, cap, we can go down, but we can't go back up.
So we're at the 36% right now with the fire assessment. We want to be at the 50.
You were
Yeah.
at 36, and it would be a
If
commission
you-
policy to send it to the 50.
If you look at the ensuing couple of pages in the
I see
backup,
it.
it gives you
I see it. I'm
the, at
just
the 200,
verifying here that-
250, 300, and the 419 max item. I mean,
You're looking at your total fire department budget, your current total fire department budget's about 2.5 million. The commission wanted to get to that 50% mark in fire assessment. You need to generate $1.2 million in fire assessment, which would be a $300.
would be, yeah, it would be right at 300. You see that?
We're at, yeah.
On
I
the,
see
on the
it.
300 page, 66.
I see it.
If you look at the bottom line, it gets us to the 1.266. Again, we're setting the max tonight. As the presentation kind of outlines how this wraps in with our strategic goals, which are an additional voice from the community. This is money that goes direct and solely for the fire department. It gets us more towards the line item of actually seeing the line and knowing what it goes for. This doesn't displace the dollars that we put into the fire department from the general fund, like the Lotto did a couple, 2 decades ago or whatever. I like the fact that we did the 3-year look back here also, which gives us like the better picture, not having to see something that's kind of abnormal. It's kind of like gymnastics. You throw out the high and the low. But
Move to approve to the highest cap at this time.
300?
For clarification, is that 419? Or is
Yeah.
it-
400.
so the staff recommendation was 300, right? Or you didn't have a
No, we-
recommendation,
Staff does
right?
not have a recommendation.
So yeah, the max we could go is the 419.
419.
So that will go on the trim notices if that is passed.
Okay.
Does somebody want to second that?
Mr. Mayor?
Sir.
Before, not to interrupt your motion, but to clarify, it will go on your trim notices.
Right.
We will also have to do a separate mailing to all of our residents because currently your cap is 225, I want to say. So we would have to do an additional direct mailing. We've already planned to do.
So
But just so the commission's aware, your residents are
already
going
planned
to
to do that.
two.
we did.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, we've already planned to do that. Once the numbers start coming back in, we knew that we needed to give you guys the option to go back. So we're already going to do that regardless.
Sure.
I
And
just want to clarify that
We can
the residents
use-
are getting two notices.
yeah, and we can use that letter to be a little bit more expansive on
Than we have
why
in the past.
why it is what it is. Because in discussions, we're kind of getting to the point where we need to start thinking ahead again and accruing for, expanding and those sorts of things. So $200 just ain't going to get us there. And it's easier to go the incremental instead of the big whack all at once. Again, I got a motion on the floor from Commissioner Coleman, but I do not have a second.
So the 419 will get us further ahead than doing the 300, right?
Yeah, the 419 would generate 1.75 million. For the 300 would generate you 1.2.
Well, the max is up tonight. We can always go back down.
That's correct.
So no matter what, this is just getting us through the
Just
finites of
set the
tonight.
seal.
Okay, well, I agree with that then.
Do you want a second? Okay, so motion
One of
from
the two are.
Commissioner Coleman would be the motion, Commissioner Clark would be the second. Any further discussions? Any discussions from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye of setting the max at 419. Commissioner Long? Yes. Who was it? Okay. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, the ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous as well.
Jimmy Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor,
Stormwater.
Commissioner. Item I have before you this evening is the Newberry Stormwater Facility Plan and the recommended action. We're requesting that the commission adopt the Stormwater Facility Plan by Resolution 2025-24. City of Newberry entered into an engineering services contract with Woodard and Curran back in 2024 to complete this facility plan in alignment with FDEP standards. The purpose of this plan is to identify potential stormwater projects for the city and pursue and secure grant funding for the same. Purpose of this hearing is to present the findings of that study, and I have Amanda Boone, who is a senior project manager for Woodard and Curran, the consultant that actually put the plan together, and she's going to do a presentation for you.
Come on up, Ms. Boone. Before you do that, I'm going to have the city attorney read our resolution into the record while you're getting ready.
Mr. Mayor, this is Resolution 2025-24, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Newberry, Florida, relating to Florida Department of Environmental Protection, FDEP, State Revolving Fund, SRF, adoption of the Stormwater Facility Plan for the implementation of stormwater improvements, repealing all resolutions in conflict, providing an effective date. Appropriate motion at the appropriate time is to pass resolution number 2025-24.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Boone, welcome. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Commissioners. So this is the Stormwater Facilities Plan that we have developed for you in compliance with FDEP's State Revolving Fund requirements. So this meeting is to meet the requirements of that SRF program. It has been noticed as such. And so tonight I'm going to do a quick review of the project summary, talking about your city needs, the alternatives, so those capital costs associated with the selected of alternatives, some of those financial impacts and estimated schedule. Of course, there will be time for public comments and discussion before considering that resolution. So this was a stormwater facilities plan focused in on your community redevelopment agency district running here along the 26 corridor for the most part. We looked at three alternatives. One of them is a no action. The other was a conveyance in regional surface stormwater infrastructure, and the other was a conveyance in regional subsurface stormwater infrastructure. So when you look around town and you see your dry retention basins and open swales, that is more of a surface system. I believe you have very few in town that are subsurface detention facilities because it's not a great terrain for that. So your selected alternative through this facility plan, and it was the most cost effective, is that surface stormwater infrastructure. This was the summary of costs between both those alternatives. The no action does have a cost to it, and that is primarily in a health, safety, operations, and maintenance aspect. We also have the cost associated with the surface version, and that's 17.3, and the subsurface was much higher at over 77 million. So we selected the alternative that is 17,936,000. It is projected this will have a minimal impact to the ratepayer, and that's because of the financial mechanisms that are being explored for these projects. The schedule, 100% based on when the funding comes in. There's discussions that are being had on a stormwater assessment, but also seeking those alternative funds through the SRF program and other funding sources to pay for these projects. Once we have the funding, then we can talk about schedule. There are multiple elements of the stormwater facilities plan. There's a technical review, an environmental review, a financial review. They do take a look at the project schedule and any comments and discussion on this. I am missing slides. No, it did not.
This is all we have in the backup.
That's all we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there
It
was
says thank you.
There is a slide that shows your CRA area. It does identify the areas that would be captured into that stormwater system. It is primarily all of the parcels and area that has been identified for redevelopment in the CRA. You also see a number of ovals that loosely identify potential project areas for those facilities. We have done it because there is still flexibility at this time to iron out which ones are which. That is still compliant with the SRF guidelines in that we just kind of generally show this area can be captured, it'll be transported over here to this area and treated in that manner. So it is a very high-level plan. I apologize that it did not make it to the slide deck, but I'm happy to try and answer any questions on that as you'd like.
And Mr. Mayor, we'll get those maps and get them sent out to you.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Commissioner Coleman.
Tell me I'm wrong here, but I thought, that the stormwater is for the subdivisions, right, coming in?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner. So what we did is look at the CRA area, basically from Southwest 266th east to just east of 2741 and 2741 corridor, one block north and south of 26, actually 2 blocks north because of the Twin Bears, and 1 block east and west of 2741. And what we identified is here is parcels that could potentially be redeveloped. And I'll use the Napa parcel as a good example. If you go to the front of the Napa parcel, you'll see that there's a small retention basin to the left as you pull in. That's because what they're trying to do is retain and treat all the stormwater for their site, on site. What we've done with this is we've identified that, say, going from left to right, here's 7 parcels that could potentially drain to this area. And 2 blocks south of 26 in that general area, there's parcels that you could look at for potential acquisition for stormwater basins, and it would need to be a basin, let's say 1.5 acres to deal with those 7 parcels. That way that stormwater could be captured in swales, piping, curb, gutter, whatever, conveyed to that master basin for them, and they would pay an assessment towards the cost to develop, implement, operate, and maintain that. So my apologies, the PowerPoint was altered to have that slide through. We specifically did not identify individual parcels. We just identified areas where there were vacant parcels that redevelopment parcels could potentially convey to. Part of this program, if you go through the SRF, is to obtain funding to try to first acquire those parcels as a master basin, work in conjunction with Mr. Lee's stormwater assessment that he's working towards, and then build the conveyance, whether it's swales, curb, gutter, piping, to that location and establish an assessment fee for those parcels that are conveying stormwater there, which theoretically would be lower than what they would spend to construct their own basin. Plus, it would expand the footprint of what they could use on their property rather than eat up that dirt with a stormwater basin, a little stormwater basin on every lot. Does that make sense?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, we're not dealing with flooded areas that sit behind the air conditioner, behind bound, right?
So state law identifies that if you develop or redevelop a piece of property, you have to deal with the stormwater generated on that site. Let's take the Bounds Air Conditioning site, for an example. They were looking to redevelop the old grocery store corridor, parcel adjacent to it. By the time they developed the stormwater basin that would be required by the new stormwater laws, they had severely reduced the amount of the property that they could use for a building or for parking.
The footprint.
Yes.
They didn't
because they was gonna eat it up with a
Right.
retention basin. What this is so you don't have a retention basin every lot on your state road corridor or both state road corridors, that you can repurpose those valuable commercial pieces and use them to their fullest potential and send the stormwater off-site to a parcel that may not be as ripe for redevelopment or useful as that one directly on the state corridor.
Mr. Mayor, just for the public's edification, this idea came out of a community workshop a couple of years ago when we were talking about what are the barriers to building in the historic downtown. Why are we not seeing as many people come downtown? And this was one of the main reasons. The example that Mr. Jones referenced, beautiful project, would have been great, would have been a nice addition to downtown. Couldn't make the stormwater work. It's too expensive and it reduced the footprint. So out of that loss, he said, well, how do we address that? That's how we got to where we are here tonight.
And this is not spending any money
Right.
necessarily. This is just passing the resolution that we would pursue something like this when the money becomes available.
I got one more question.
Fire away.
Is any of this, like what we're doing here, underground?
No, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner, so when she was talking about the subsurface versus the surface, the recommended mechanism of this is surface, not the subsurface like what we're doing here. Normally, you can do surface much cheaper than you can do a subsurface system. And to the mayor's statement, no, you're not spending any money tonight. What this is a checkbox that you have to have if you want to apply for SRF or grant funding to move some of these projects. And whether or not this moves forward is totally dependent on acquiring that funding or potential funding from the stormwater assessment. No funding is available, you don't have to move forward. But it is a prerequisite to apply.
Let's do it.
Any other discussion from the board? Seeing none. Any from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
You didn't get a motion.
I told you
got
there was
me.
no motion.
Second.
Commissioner Long and Commissioner Clark.
In 3 eyes.
Got it? Motion passes unanimous. All right, is that it?
That's it.
I think we're on-
Comments?
My goodness, hold on. I think all we have is comments, correct? There we go. Citizens first. Seeing none, city manager, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a couple. One, you guys have a couple of emails in your inbox trying to lock down the budget dates over the summer. So we're going to send that out again. So it'll be at the top of the inbox, but if you could look at your calendars and start piecing that together, I think we're trying for 3, 4. We're at least going to have 3. I think last year we ended up with 5. So if we can get them on the schedule early, we can all start making vacation plans around that. We've made a couple of shifts. One is a reorganization of our structure. So I want to introduce Mr. Jones to you as Assistant City Manager over Infrastructure and Development. Planning and zoning is now under his purview. So now every development will have a funnel effect through one set of eyes. Hopefully this helps with efficiency and communication. Mr. Lee is Assistant City Manager over Economic and Community Vitality. We've moved economic development under him. We've moved Parks and Rec, because we see that as community building, as Parks and Rec Director Rod Clark said as well. And we have the CRA under there. And obviously, budget and finance is also under, remains under Assistant City Manager Lee. My next announcement, and I'm going to say this one probably at every single meeting until October, so that every single person who does work with the city can hear it. But we are trying to make sure that we get the agenda published early enough that you guys have plenty of time to read it. And so we're going to be asking our vendors to start getting their things due to us the Thursday before business of the week that we publish. So if we're published on Wednesday, we're asking all of our vendors to get us that information the Thursday before the close of business. We've sent out dates to everyone. Internally now, we're going to begin communicating that to our builders and developers, but hopefully that will help mitigate some of the mistakes, give you guys plenty of time of open business work hours to talk to me, talk to directors, get all your answers to all of your questions. Okay? And that does it for me, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Appreciate that. And I know you and I talked about having the backup sent to the public email list. Are we still going to try to pursue that as well?
We are pursuing that. We've got some ADA issues that we have to work through because everything has to be, but we're going to have that worked through shortly.
All right, perfect. Mr. Attorney,
No comment.
Madam Clerk. Okay. And Commissioner Coleman, you want to go start us off?
Seeing that we were talking about the agenda, I want to thank Ms. Randa Paul. First time I can remember getting an agenda a week before the meeting. Last time I remember it's back when Miss Judy was over it. So really appreciate her getting on it and getting it out to us that early. Really good. That's all I got.
God bless America and God bless our troops.
Yeah, I have one thing. Organization, 9:30, Academy, grade 7 to 12. It's at the Utility Main Office, 4747. It's 8-4 on Tuesday, October 9th. I'll be posting that link to sign up. Any kid that's available, parents still are very happy. Has all kind of access to workshops and everything like that. Food, breakfast, snacks, and lunch provided. Sign up for free. That is 29th.
Very good, Commissioner Clark, or Long, excuse me. Okay, and just to note, Commissioner Mazon and Commissioner Farnsworth, I believe they were both sick, just not able to make it tonight. So pass along our prayers for the speedy recovery for both of them. I do not have anything particular to mention tonight. So at that time, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Hey, Manager Marlon, were these for something left over?
Extras that people had asked for. It says, Debbie dropped the phone. And I didn't know if you had a list of people who were asking